I'm Anna Webb. Welcome to A Dog's Life. Hey, Mr. Binks. You know how last week we were speaking to Andy Pierce of Pet Cover? Well, he's going to join us again this week for part 2 of our insurance special that involves Fiona Martin, who'll be talking about her experience with her Cocker Spaniel called Teddy. Hey, Fiona, welcome to A Dog's Life.
Hi, Anna.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good. Yeah.
Because you've just
All right,
had
down one side, I should say.
down one side, because you've just had major shoulder surgery.
Yep, I sure have. Yep.
Did you have human health insurance for that?
Luckily, I did. Yes, yes, I did. So, yep, and that covered me for everything so far. So I'm lucky, very lucky there.
And does that firm do dogs as well?
They don't actually do animals, no. Sadly not.
Ah, yeah, because you've got, well, quite a big insurance story to tell about Teddy, your Cocker Spaniel. Tell us a bit more.
That's correct. Um, Teddy was diagnosed with diabetes and uveitis, which is an eye condition related to diabetes, in February. And after 4 days of hospital treatment, I got an astronomical bill of nearly £2,000, which I obviously presented to my insurance company, an insurance company that I thought was very good. And I'd had him insured from when he was practically 10 weeks old, and he's 9 years old now. Paid all my premiums every year. Obviously, it goes up each year. Paid extra when he got to the age of 8, so it literally doubled. And gave him the insurance claim and found out that I'd only be insured for £1,000 per condition. But I thought, there's a fair chance that I'm going to get £1,000 back out of the £1,900. And I ended up with £627 back.
Wow, gosh. I
Yeah,
mean, even I can work out, the maths on that. That's really, not a very good return.
yeah, that's right. Actually, the things that they took off um, over maximum consultation fees by £10. A Sharps disposal bin that obviously he needs for his syringes, £36. Over the maximum hospitalisation fees, which I queried, which was £168.90. Over the maximum sum recoverable. Yeah, I can understand that because he's only insured for £1,000 per condition, which was £773. My excess was £99 and a percentage excess of £315.
Right.
So that's the max. I obviously ended up with £627.
Right. Okay. So had he had an eye problem before?
Never, never. He's never had a claim in all of his 9 years.
Gosh, because I mean,
Yeah,
when you insure your car, it's all about your no claims bonus,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
So, and yet without any claims, they doubled the price of the monthly repayment
yeah.
when he was 8. So is 8 this magic number when dogs start to go downhill?
Yeah, they call them seniors.
Gosh, so is Teddy insured now? Have you
No, I cancelled the insurance because after the claim, I was I obviously wrote a stern letter. I didn't really get much feedback from them. They sent me a new policy with an exclusion notice. So the exclusion notice basically said, which I had the claim was settled, I think, in March. From April, they said, with effect from 19th of April 2022, Teddy will not be covered for any diabetes or his eye related conditions. So I could never claim anything again for his conditions that he had. So they excluded all of that from his policy. So his monthly insulin, his needles, his uveitis drops every 2 weeks, well, the insulin's every 2 weeks, I pay out of my own pocket because they wouldn't pay out anymore.
And
It's just...
I can't believe this. So, in effect, you basically tipped 9 years of insurance premium payments every month down the drain.
Exactly. Which I might as well have really just put that money aside and had it in a pot along with, I don't know, with a credit card or whatever for any major things that happened. But at the time, everybody says, oh yeah, get insurance, in case anything happens. But it's not worth the paper it's written on, really.
Was it an animal specific insurance firm, or was it like an insurance firm that does house insurance, car insurance, and all of that?
They cover like horses and livestock. They back in the day, there was probably 2 main insurance companies, and I went with one of those.
Right.
And they were reputable. A vet recommended that I went with them because they were really good.
Gosh, well, Fiona, I'm so sorry to hear this. You see, I mean, I'm mixed on whether to insure or not. I believe a lot can be done to maintain your dog's health, really with diet and environmental aspects, to be honest. But, how's Teddy doing now?
Yeah, he's doing fine. I've really managed his diabetes well. I do my own glucose testing because the vet charges £120 to do that during the day, and I can do that for about £10. So I just key it all into my little app. I do a little blood test every 2 hours and then send my little report to the vet, and I've saved myself probably £90–100. But I do that once a month.
Yeah, but that's also part, in a way, of the journey now with you and Teddy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's great. He has his food morning and night. He jumps up on the sofa, ready for his injection. He gets a little treat after. And even when I've been in hospital, a friend of mine's looked after him, and he just knows the routine. He's so good. And I'm now able, just last day or so, to inject him. I can do it myself now with my arm in a sling. So he's great. And I think it's a massive bond between us now as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because, the other awful thing about the insurance firm, I mean, they know full well that diabetes, it can be turned around. It can be turned around in people. So, it can be turned around in dogs. But at the end of the day, it is pretty much now going to be there for the rest of his life. So
Exactly.
They shut the door on you when you needed them the most.
Yeah, that's right. And the eye condition is lifelong as well that he's got. It's not glaucoma's high pressure in the eyes, uveitis is low pressure. So he has to have drops every day, morning and night, for the rest of his life to keep that pressure correct. So he has to have regular checks for that with the eye specialist, which is another, 70 quid each time.
It mounts up.
It does, but obviously I love my dog and I pay it, but some people can't.
Well, exactly. And, we are in the middle of a cost of living crisis. So, your insurance firm really hasn't helped you,
No.
Which isn't very loyal, which is kind of, you buy into firms for brand loyalty and for it to be a two-way street, really. Oh, gosh. Well, Fiona, look, thanks for sharing this.
That's okay. You're very welcome.
Just out of interest, might you ever consider insuring ever again?
If I obviously got a new dog, or obviously if when anything happens to these two, not yet, but I'd certainly shop around for a much better, maybe like a lifetime insurance that covers absolutely everything, lifelong, with no exclusions. That's the thing, to exclude it from your policy for the rest of his life. Terrible. At the time when I took the insurance out, I didn't know that. So
Well, I
it's a
suppose
learning curve.
it
Yeah.
is a learning curve. Life is a learning curve, and they say you learn by your mistakes, so long
Yeah.
as you only do them once.
Exactly.
oh, well, Fiona, I hope your shoulder gets better and that we can
So
meet up again soon, and that you can get
yes,
back
yes.
back to doing what you're doing, which is being an amazing dog groomer.
Yes, I can't wait. I miss my clients and my dogs so much. It's awful.
Oh, well, thank you, Fiona, for sharing
That's
this.
okay. You're very welcome.
Hey, Anna,
Yes, Mike.
got some exciting news for you.
Oh, go on. I like a bit of news.
Yes, we got our latest shipment of Paleo Ridge for Billy.
Marvelous.
Yeah. And he, at the moment, is out chewing on a duck's neck.
Oh.
He absolutely loves
Oh,
those.
we love a duck's neck. Duck is such an interesting meat because it's actually good for dogs who have a few kidney problems, But duck necks are super and they're so easily absorbed.
Well, he absolutely loves them. And his new favorite also for the meal is the wild venison and duck. So thanks for putting me on the paleo. We love it.
Well, I'm glad you're feeding raw. I know it took a while, but the best things in life are worth waiting for, right, Mike?
They definitely are.
And if you want to consider feeding your dogs raw, check out the links to Paleo Ridge. They're in the show notes. So I told Andy about Fiona's story, and this is what he had to say.
There are 4 main product types in the UK, and we offer all of them. Okay. Now, and the reason we offer all of them is because we believe that people have to make choices about what they can afford and what they want for their pet. Now, there are 4 product types. The most simplest product type out there is what they call accident only product.
Right.
Which only covers you for an accident. So if your dog has an accident, you'll get the treatment that you need. It will be paid for. If you have an illness, it won't pay out. So there is a reason why it is cheap, low cost. So do not get sucked into an accident only policy. I don't like them, and we don't sell them because I think it's a misleading product. Let's come back to the age scenario, and I'll give you a very, very rough rule of thumb.
Okay.
So for the 4 types of products, I talked about accident only. There is what we call a time-limited product, which is a 12-month product, which means if your pet gets a condition, your treatment, whatever that treatment is, will be paid for the first 12 months. After 12 months, that condition is no longer covered by the policy. So that's a 12-month time-limited policy. It sounds like your friend may have had one of those. They are
Maybe.
cheap. They're cheaper.
Right. But what about, aren't they mostly in insurance policies that are, insurance firms that do everything, cars,
Yep.
Insure your fridge, insure your washing machine, insure everything, because there's those types of firms that offer insurance for pets. Whereas if people ask me my advice, I'll always say, go for a specific dedicated pet insurance firm.
Absolutely spot on. You want experts. You want people that are living and breathing it. You want people that understand what's going on from a marketplace point of view and treatment regime and everything else. So you want to go for an expert company. And I'm not saying that lightly. You want to go for a dedicated pet specialist that really just looks after pets. We don't do anything else ourselves. We just do pets. You want lifetime cover. That's the cover, if you can afford it, that's the cover you want, which would have been great for your friend, because if you have a lifelong condition, the policy will continue to pay out to the maximum sum every year for the rest of the animal's life, as long as you keep paying your premium. So you're looking for a cover for life product if you can afford it, and you're looking for a specialist insurers that actually, they just do pet. We don't do anything else. I do everything to do with pets. So, and the reason I do that is because, firstly, animals and pets are fantastic, right? That's the first thing. It's a great product. It's the most used insurance product out there. I would say to you, it actually is good value for money. However, some people may think not, but I would tell you it is. It's the most used, and it is if you get the right product, it just gives you that peace of mind that you need, and you don't have to make tough decisions later on. So
No, it's a no, absolutely. But there's some insurance firms have these caveats. I don't know if they do anymore, but they certainly used to, whereby your dog wouldn't be insured unless you had an annual booster jab.
Yep. So yes. So you've got to look at the maintenance part of the policy wording that says what you've got to do to make sure your pet is fit and healthy. So there's every insurance company has their own variation, but it's making sure that you as an owner, or pet parent, as some companies will want to call you, actually make sure that you do the right things by the pet. Don't overfeed it. Make sure it's getting its inoculations and its vaccinations, because they will stop diseases and so on and so forth. So what most insurance companies do is they say you need to get it vaccinated against the core diseases, and you need to follow your vet's advice.
Right, yeah, but hang on a sec. So certainly when I was with Pet Plan, with my first miniature bull terrier, I don't do annual boosters because I titer test instead, which has since way back now become globally recognized by the World Small Animal Veterinary Association as being the way to go, because there is quite a lot of evidence that does actually correlate that annual boosters do indeed make your dog, ill. And that's, the side of the fence that I very much sit on. So with pet cover specifically then, what are your recommendations? Do you have a caveat that you've got to have a booster every year?
No.
Good. Brilliant. I love that.
So the great bit for me is, it's fantastic. You're more of a responsible owner than most. So,
I hope so. Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm saying is, and I'm choosing my words so that people listen to it. If the vet says you need to have a booster on something, and they give you the rationale, if you're doing something else as an alternative, please discuss that with your vet and put it on record, and that would be fine. If the vet, I can tell you now, I've had a few cases where somebody's gone against the vet's advice and ended up with an £18,000 bill as a consequence of tick paralysis. Now, what I say in that instance is, right, the vet's given you advice. You've got to follow it to a certain extent. If you have a different view, you need to express it there and then. If the vet agrees it's the right thing to do, then we're completely comfortable.
Yeah, okay, but still, it's interesting. Many vets are resilient to titer testing, which I've discussed actually in some other podcasts. And I find it all very interesting, really, as, the evidence is scientifically proven that puppy shots do last a lifetime. So I was thinking, why do something that you don't need to do,
I'm with you.
Okay. No, brilliant. Oh, so that's good. So there's no hidden caveats, certainly, with pet cover. What about insurance for alternative treatments, which I certainly used a lot? I'm referring to Pet Plan here. I hope you don't mind, but you were part of it. So interestingly, a very old dog walking friend of mine from Stoke Newington. I can't remember his name, but of course I can remember his dog's name. It was a Spinoni, Spinoni called Bianca.
Great name.
And was she called Blanche? It was one or the other. And he founded Pet Plan. And we got chatting at a companion dog show. I mean, we're talking, this is 2002, so hence a bit hazy on it. Anyway, but the wonderful thing was there was a huge budget, could have been huger for acupuncture, physiotherapy, homeopathy, and alternative treatments.
Yep. So that was probably David Simpson. But we have cover within our policy for all of those. There are some limitations in some of our policies, so because it keeps the cost down, so you need to look at the range. But in the what I call the Supreme range of products, it's got all of that in it. The only variation to that is hydrotherapy, where we limit it to 10 sessions.
Okay.
And the reason for that is purely because there isn't sufficient scientific evidence to prove beyond the 10 sessions. And in reality, you can actually exercise your pet and actually get the same benefits. So it was limited because vets were issuing hydrotherapy treatments as if it was confetti. And suddenly, obviously, everybody's got to pay for that in their premiums ultimately. So it was an area where we felt, to a certain extent, the treatment was being exploited. So that's the only space where I would say there's a limitation on that. Watch out for that within other policies. There are what I call inner limits inside policies. So the likes of, I'm not going to talk about specific companies because I think that's unfair, but look at inner limits. So often you'll find you've got £7,000 worth of cover, but actually there's only £500 worth of cover for skin conditions. There's only £300 worth of cover for tick paralysis. So look at inner limits inside a policy. Now, every insurance company should be telling you what those limits are before you take the policy out. So when you get your documentation, this is a big shout out for everybody. There is a document called an IPID, Insurance Product Disclosure Document. It tells you the things that they don't cover, the high risk things, and it tells you the limits inside. Make sure without fail you read that document.
Gosh, yes. So hang on, what was it called again?
It's an insurance product disclosure document. It's called an IPID.
I didn't know this. You see, I didn't know this. And skin conditions, you see.
Yep.
It's interesting then that they've kind of picked on those types of conditions that then you could get stitched up pretty quickly.
Yes, absolutely. So skin, you can have eczema for life, right? There are ways to look after your pet that keep that down, but you might need treatment. So skin could definitely be one of those where there's a limit. There could even be a limit on, it's called the Insurance Product Information Document, IPID. So you might find companies have those inner limits, and so that's the document to look at. It will tell you skin conditions ordinarily are what I call lifelong conditions. That's why you need a lifelong cover. It is the one that will offer you the best cover for a long-term illness,
Yeah, and it is important, it is important to be covered. I would say that, Andy. That's our show, Mr. Binks. What did you think? Yes, I agree. Fiona's story really couldn't be made up. And you're right, it is time for Woof of the Week. It's called small print for a reason, but please do read the small print in your insurance policy so you don't get caught out. Well, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, go on, please rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts. Thanks again, of course, to Andy Pierce at Pet Cover, and all the links to them are in the show notes, and to Fiona Martin, and her links are also in the show notes. Thanks, of course, to Mike Hansen, my producer, for all the music and production as ever. Find out more about him at Pod People UK. And for me, I'm just at Anna Webb Dogs. What's that, Mr. Binks? Yes, you're right. We will be back in your feed next Sunday. So, if you haven't already, why don't you subscribe now? It's free. And that way, you'll never miss another show. Bye for now.
Pod people.